this is my office.
Okay, yeah.
You can come in here.
Right, great, yeah.
Most people have finished for the day now, so it should be a lot quieter. I can spare about half an hour, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Then I've got to go and pick up the kids. But I wanted to do this, because if this helps other people, then that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking now then, where to start. Look, I'm just going to dive in, if that's okay. My mother, my mother was 72 when she died. Well, that's no age at all, is it? She died in the June 2022, so just over a year ago now. You know, I can't believe a whole year has gone by. It feels more recent somehow. The time's strange, isn't it? He's talking like this now. I'm right back there. I'm right back there. Oh, I'm sorry, I told myself I wasn't going to cry. I was determined. Now look at me. I'm sorry. We'd never come across IPF before. Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Idiopathic because it's individual apparently, and they don't know what causes it. And pulmonary fibrosis, scarring of the lungs. It's kind of ironic in a way, because in this part of the world, South Wales, you know, we're all used to lung and respiratory problems because of the coal mining. I mean, historically, they were so common. There was always someone coughing and breathless in a back room of an old terraced house. Length and breadth of the South Wales valleys. You grew up with it. Dust, they called it. Well, and of course it killed them. But IPF, no. Nobody ever mentioned that. Oh, it just seemed so unfair. She'd never smoked, she hardly touched alcohol, she looked after her diet, and was really a very fit and healthy person. It was a shock. Her getting our diagnosis pulled the rug from under her. Well, I think it pulled the rug from under all of us. It was winter time and she'd been feeling rough for quite a while. Difficulty breathing, coughing. She was off her food. It had gone on for months. Now we managed to persuade her to go to the doctors, finally, and they took her in for tests. I think they wanted to eliminate things, you know. So they did a lung biopsy. Well, that was how they diagnosed it. Of course, she wanted to know how long she'd got left. She was always very practical and realistic, my mother. They said it was hard to be really accurate, but somewhere between, 3 to 5 years? It was 3, actually. Oh, to say it was a difficult time is an understatement. She was always a very strong person. She was fiercely independent. No, she never asked for help. She just never seemed to need it, to be honest. I used to think she was so good at everything, you know? When we were children, right, my father worked shifts and long hours, so half the time it was like she was a single parent. She did everything. As well as going out to work 3 days a week. You know, she did all the cooking and the cleaning. And she made these fantastic cakes for weddings and christenings and things. And you'd often see her sitting in the evening knitting or crocheting. I don't know how she did it, to be honest. Oh, I got this particular memory of her. It's just come to me. It's just so typical of her. Wallpapering the front room. So I must have been about 9 or 10. And there she is, right? She's up a ladder with a massive piece of wallpaper. Almost bigger than she is. She was quite small, my mother. And she's already pasted it, you know, and she's hanging it, letting it all gradually unfold bit by bit and drop down, while sticking it and smoothing it onto the wall with a special brush. Like an expert. And she got me to foot the ladder. I don't know where she learned to do that. You know, wallpapering. I can't do it. Oh, that's my phone. I've got to keep an eye on it. Oh, it's okay. Nothing that can't wait. After the diagnosis, well, she just changed. She became very agitated, very anxious about everything. Panicky, you know. She was often very short of breath and, well, I think that really frightened her. She stopped wanting to go out. She pretty much stopped eating as well. I mean, that was the hardest thing. She lost a lot of weight very quickly. Well, food became a big thing, actually. And I regret now. I regret not trying to get her to eat. I had to do that. But the way I did it. I know I wasn't all that nice about it sometimes. But I was anxious and it was hard. It was so hard to see her wasting away in front of me. Oh, by the end, she was completely emaciated. Her mobility went as well. Well, I suppose she just didn't have the strength. And the medication, which was supposed to slow down the process, didn't. Just made her feel sick. She didn't want to see anyone either. And she'd always been so sociable, you know. I thought a lot about this over the months. Really, I think it was about not wanting anyone to see her in that state. So, you know, diminished. Well, I managed to get her to come and stay with me somehow, just for the week. And during that time, we made some very hard practical decisions together. Got things sorted about her care. Where did she want to live? I offered to have her here with us, but she didn't want to come to Cardiff. She said she'd miss the view of the hills from her bedroom window. We discussed a care facility near her, nice one, but she didn't want that either. She just wanted to stay put in her own home, where she'd been happy. She decided she'd live upstairs. Well, she set herself up in the bedroom, you know, the radio, telly, phone, books, everything all around her. All close to hand, you know. And she, well, very reluctantly agreed to carers coming in. That was hard work getting her to agree to that. But she knew she needed it, so they came in, must have been for, 6 months? Every single day, 3 times a day. We went to see her, of course, weekends and other times, as and when, you know. She refused to have oxygen because she felt that meant the end. Oh, I might have helped her. I don't know. I think she thought that if she stayed still in bed and didn't move, she wouldn't need it. Oh, I'm just so glad I wasn't on my own with it all. That there was me and my sister. I just don't know how I would have managed. She had to relocate to a hospice in the end. She chose the one she preferred, and luckily they were able to accommodate her. They were all so good in there. Marvellous people, every single one of them. And her GP, well, there's no words. She was just so fantastic, so caring, just so human, you know. She even came to Mum's funeral. You couldn't have asked for more from any of them, really. But, and I have to say this, even they struggled to know how to manage things for Mum, how to help her, you know, with the breathlessness and the panic. It's like there was no compass, no framework of care about IPF. Nobody seemed to know what to expect or what to do. And there seemed to be this huge gap between the consultant saying, I'm sorry, there's nothing more we can do, and all that time until she died. What were we supposed to do? I mean, where was the guidance? We were all of us, right, muddling through the best we could. But surely somebody should have known more. Oh. I sat with my mother in the hospice for the 5 days leading up to her death. She was in a coma by then. It was a very strange time. But also a great privilege to be there. Does that sound odd? I found myself holding her hand, brushing her hair, talking to her, telling her stories, reading to her, playing some of her favourite songs, laughing, crying. What must I have looked like doing all that, with her just lying there? But it felt so important. It was my chance to have a proper goodbye. Oh, I hope that helps.